If you've been wondering what products are actually starting to show up for Q4 on Etsy, this is the perfect time to look. We are right at the beginning of Q4 prep, which means the sellers that are discovering these trends now have the best chance of getting their listings live and seen before demand really spikes. So today we're going to look at some of the biggest fall trends I'm seeing on Etsy, of course, using our friends at EverBee. We'll dive into the keywords people are already searching for, the types of products that are gaining traction that might actually have nothing to do with the holiday season, and what those trends could mean for your own shop. My goal is to help you spot opportunities while there's still plenty of time to actually create the products, not when everybody else is already competing for the same customer. So let's jump into the first trend. All right, so as always, we are going to start in Etsy, and I don't want you to start scrolling through your homepage or start searching anything. I actually want you to immediately go over to your EverBee side panel and go ahead and click Product Analytics before searching anything. And the next step I want to take here is to make sure that we are opening all of the different listings that EverBee has access to. So we're going to go ahead and click EverBee Database, which again gives us over 171 million listings to look at. But as you and I both know, we don't want to look at stuff that is maybe too old, or maybe we don't want to look at stuff that's actually not making money. That's not going to get us anywhere in life. So what we're going to do is either create our own filters by simply coming over to Filter and adding any different parameters that you'd like to any of these filters, or you can easily choose one of the new 3 filters that EverBee has created for you. In this case, I am going to go ahead and use New and Hot. And New and Hot, as you'll see, is it highlights new listings that are already gaining strong traction with buyers, and they are, as you can see over here, less than 3 months old. So these were all built over the past 90 days. Now, the last little step that I like to take is to go ahead and go to the growth rate and bring the highest growth rate percentages up to the top. So this is going to show us things that have seen a really, really good momentum over the past 30 days, not just the past 3 months. So then what I would do is kind of just go through these and see if any of them it makes sense for what I'm currently selling. This, for example, is something that has made over $4,200, and it's only 1 month old, which is absolutely insane. So it's a Comfort Colors custom family lake trip. This obviously could be something related to bachelorette parties as well. Let's open her up real fast and see what it looks like. So you can see it's in demand. 17 people have bought this in the past 24 hours. They do have a pretty significant sale right now. This kind of pricing strategy is not something that I would ever recommend. Basically what they're doing is having Comfort Colors small, Comfort Colors youth, regular youth. You'll see regular youth small, for example, at $6.65 is the reason, in my opinion, that this listing is gaining so much visibility. But you and I both know that they are looking more at these prices when someone actually gets here. So that's never a strategy that I would recommend doing. However, unfortunately, on Etsy, it is a race to the bottom sometimes. So if you want some early traction and potentially pissed off people, feel free to try and see if this works for you as well. But we can see it's a very simple design. It is on both the front and back of a Comfort Colors item. I'm assuming, yeah, this is a 1717C, so Comfort Colors 1717 is the shirt they chose. And again, it is a front and back. So on the front, it just says Vacation 2026. And again, they're going to obviously have this personalizable with Lake Travis 2026, for example. And then on the back, they are building off of something that has done super well over the past couple of months, which is the postage stamp trend. So instead of having multiple postage stamps across the front, which has been the pretty much standard trend in that space, they are just building one big one for the back. And again, it is allowing them to have it be personalized as well. I also want to see if it's not just the pricing strategy, but maybe there is also a keyword strategy that they're doing well to get so much visibility in just the first month. So all we have to do is scroll down a little bit to see what they have going on. So I'm actually seeing custom lake trip, family lake trip, lake weekend shirt. There's very good competition here. So these are all 3 in the green. And again, it's a kind of a lower quote unquote keyword score being at 30, but the competition is what's really sexy to me here. Matching lake trip, kind of same thing here, low competition. We're also seeing some things in the yellow as well. So lake crew t-shirt, lake vacation shirt, lake crew shirt. And again, you'll see that the volume is not as big as we would normally want it. We want these to be in the yellow or preferably green. I mean, we actually don't have any yellows here. It is all red, but that's just based on EverBee's metrics. And the keyword score is the exact same concept. It's just the volume versus the competition times 1,000. So not to say that you don't want to look at these numbers. They are very important, but what I like to see is what is actually driving this. And I think the fact that they are actually finding things with a lot less competition in the lake weekend or lake trip space could be the reason why. I'm also not seeing anything related to personalization. There is custom right here and custom here, but I don't see anything that's like personalized, customizable, customized. So that might be something that they are missing out on potentially as an opportunity in this space. So let's look for another one together. This one is interesting. It's a personalized photo dad's grilling plate, and it's custom baby or pet faces. It's only been live for 2 months, has over 630 sales, $7,600 in revenue, so even bigger than our original listing. You can see this is currently in 13 carts right now. That is obviously an Etsy metric that we're able to see, and it's it's really cute because they're doing something very, very smart here. They are pairing a very well-known trend, which is this kind of all over the place blue and red colors in this kind of design style. There's a bunch of little icons, and it is like kind of the handwriting style. So I want to show you guys what I mean by this is currently trending right now. So if we go into Pinterest, for example, and we just find, look up graphic t-shirts, we're more than likely going to see this type of shirt a couple of different times just by simply scrolling through. Oh, really fast before we keep looking at that, this is another example of what I was mentioning about how people usually do the postage stamps all together on the front of the shirt, but obviously the winner on Etsy right now was doing one postage stamp on the back. All right, so here's a quick example of what I mean by like the icons and the handwriting. So this was only posted 13 days ago. As you can see, it says respect the locals, and then it has the different sea creatures around it and the respect the locals in the handwriting font. All right, and here's another example. This one was built 1 month ago. It's got 46 saves and 7 repins. And again, it's like the little icons and the handwriting up here. And I did mention that it usually favors like blue or red. And here's another example of proving that. Also, blue and red usually do super well in the summer as well. So I'm not surprised that this is performing well, but it's also something that's a little bit different. So they're obviously bringing in things that are already performing well right now. They're bringing in the element of personalization, but they're also bringing in the element of a totally different product than what you would naturally expect to see from a potential print-on-demand store. But what I wanted to show you guys that I'm super excited about is I actually have access to Anywhere POD. And Anywhere POD is basically just this all-in-one platform that allows you to link multiple different print-on-demand suppliers into one kind of account. So you'll see there's all these different suppliers over here. So I actually wanted to go to their catalog under the drinkware, here we go, the dinnerware, and see if this is something we could potentially do as print-on-demand sellers instead of just handmade sellers. All right, so we're seeing bowl plate platter. Okay, so platter is good, but I'm also seeing it's $22, which is maybe a little bit more expensive than we want to get. Let's see what they're currently selling for. So right now it says $7.99 at the lowest, but I feel like there's something wrong there. So let's look at platter style together. Ah, that's why. This is crazy. This stresses me out. So what they're doing is the exact same thing that the other people were doing on the last listing, which if you are building your own Appa shop and building your own website, you don't have to deal with this kind of stuff, guys. You do not have to race to the bottom just to get seen. I hate that this is how Etsy works nowadays, but with looking at like smart sellers like we are doing today, we are able to see that the digital file only is $8, and then the actual oval and the round platter are over $40. So if I choose oval, for example, my price is going to go up to $44.98 with the 30% off coupon. So that means this listing is $65. So that's good to know, because when we come over here, we're seeing that the platter being only $22, that's a pretty decent profit margin if, again, we are selling on our own shops. But the good thing about this is if you do have an Appa shop and this is something you wanted to get into, we can still use EverBee research on Etsy to find what is currently driving sales. So there's one option. I'm also seeing one even a little bit cheaper. If you have the Shine On subscription, their premium plan, you can get a 10 by 14 platter for $17.50 or $21.50 if you don't have an account. Here's another one from Deco Plate. So this is another print-on-demand provider that Anywhere POD has access to. So this platter is currently $16.50. So that's the absolute best profit margin that we've seen so far. And those seem to be the only ones that they have access to, but you can definitely make a huge profit. If we're looking over here at the discounted price is $44.98, so they're 30% down. So even with that discount, $44. If we think about how much it's going to cost us, it's going to be $16.50. So this platter right here, pull up my handy dandy calculator real fast. So if we are currently doing a 30%, or this particular company is doing $45 minus $16.50, that's $28.50. Now let's go ahead and do the unfortunate transaction fees that you also have on Etsy, which is going to be 9.5%. So that's going to be $2.70 in transaction fees. So $28.50 minus $2.70. And then we also want to go ahead and minus 20 cents because of getting this listing live and the 20 cents you'll have to do for renewal. So overall, we would be looking potentially at a $25.60 profit margin for this particular style of product utilizing Deco Plate right here through Anywhere POD. So this might be something that you guys have never thought about offering before, but will absolutely distinguish you from everybody out there who is sticking to t-shirts or mugs or tumblers. This is something that's completely unique and also allows them that element of personalization as well. And you guys might also be looking at this and saying like, oh, well, of course, Leslie, we're watching this video in July, August. This is obviously something that makes sense for the summer months. So how is this going to help me in the fall? We're going to do the exact same concept, but turn it into a Thanksgiving plate, turn it into a Friendsgiving plate, turn it into a platter that is, built for Christmas time, Kwanzaa, whatever your audience is celebrating over the next 3 to 4 months is absolutely how we can take this exact same winning concept and apply it to the future. I really liked that one. I'm glad we got to look at that together today. All right, let's see if we can find another one. So right under that, I actually see this one is $6,600, but has been made over, oh my God, the past 1 month as well. So personalized embroidered lace tank top. So they're saying it is potentially a bridal shower gift, an engagement gift, something for a bachelorette party, whatever the case may be. Let's go ahead and view it together. In demand, 20 people bought this over the past 24 hours, and it literally just says marriage material. Looks like there might also be some other ones that they have. Yeah, interesting. So they have different options that you can do your embroidery with. So it's like Mrs. Wilson, marriage material, Viva La Diva, I guess. So it looks like you're able to just personalize this however you want. But marriage material is also something that you wouldn't even have to personalize if you'd like to just have it be a generic evergreen kind of product. So let's go into Printify real fast and see if there are any tank tops that are potentially related to this item. Okay, so we're not seeing any ruffles quite yet. Oh, but this might be a good one. So woman's spaghetti strap tank top. Again, there's no ruffles on it, but it does, if we go back over here, does give the same kind of feel. So it's a little bit, tighter around the midsection. It kind of feels like something that's very trendy right now in the girly / Gen Z space. Let's see if this offers, it does not offer embroidery, but I wonder if we could come over to the catalog and go into embroidery and see what we do have access to. All right, so on Printify, I was not able to find embroidered tank tops, but I did find this that we have early access to. So I wanted to bring this up. This is a woman's cropped cotton t-shirt, and it looks like you might also be able to get the pants or the shorts on Printify as well. It was under the embroidered option here. So this is actually something that would do super well in the bachelorette or bridal party space. And then another one I found was this women's micro rib raglan baby tee. So this is something that has been absolutely popping off on Etsy, and you'll also see this in major retailers like Target and Urban Outfitters as well. So this might be another way that we could potentially be able to hop on this kind of trend of the marriage material concept and then, just in a different space. So I'm also interested to see, by clicking this to open the listing details, I wonder what they're also doing in, oh nice, in the keyword space. So I'm seeing bridal PJs. Look at that, a really good high keyword score here. We're also seeing lace tank top, which in this case might not be applicable to us unless you are able to build your own from scratch. Mrs. Tank top, however, could be. Bride tank top the same. Embroidered tank, again, this is completely determined basically on which one that you decide to move forward with. But overall, this is actually a really healthy keyword strategy here, because they do have, first of all, one high performing one, and then they have a good number of ones that have little competition comparatively to others, and then other ones that have good search volume, even if they do have a little bit higher competition as well. All right, so let's look up one more together today. So again, these are all things that were performing over the past 30 days, and you'll see the growth rate being brought up to the top. So some of these things are going to be very focused, of course, on the summer months, because we currently are in summer. So in that case, let's go ahead and type in something that is a little bit more prominent for Q4. Let's do Halloween right now, and I will go ahead and keep it on the new and hot and see if there's any that come up. Okay, so there actually are some. So again, don't do anything that is copyrighted, but I am seeing this one. This is a digital product. We went over this in last week's video, almost $300, 2 months old. This one, Pumpkin Patch, again, is a digital product that they're selling. But what's really important about seeing these digital products that are selling now in July and August for future months is that means that there is demand in this particular space. So if digital products are flying off the shelves for a future date, that means that more than likely print-on-demand sellers or handmade sellers are going to be taking these kinds of designs and building out those kind of listings. So it's really good idea to look at those digital products early on. Ooh, I like this one a lot. So the revenue is not as big as I would like, but the good news is, again, we are using EverBee to find things that are performing right now that are just built over the past couple of months on Etsy, so that you can make the decision of, do I want to be on Etsy or do I want to be on OppaShop? Do I want to be on both? So this gives you the opportunity to even charge higher, if premium prices, if you are either selling through social media or OppaShop. So this one is only 2 months old, which means they started listing this in the month of June, I believe. So it's a witchy coloring book with 140 pages. It is currently, as you can see here, in 11 carts right now, and it shows you a couple of the individual pages that you can expect. Very cool. 22% almost conversion rate here, which basically means the total amount of sales divided by the total number of views. So this is absolutely something that people are currently looking up right now. And let's see what their keywords look like. So Halloween coloring is a little bit higher on the competition, but really good on the volume. Coloring bundle usually means that they're including a bunch of different ones. So in this case, 140 pages to their coloring book. Witch coloring, really good competition here. A little bit lower, of course, on the volume than I would like, but that's great. Witchy things and witch coloring book. People are actively looking this up. Witchy print. Those are the more focused on the niche and the product itself. And then these start getting into more just broad generalizations about the product. So this might be a really good option as we are getting closer and closer to the Halloween months, knowing that this was actually built 2 months ago. Again, it's usually to the end of July, beginning of August when you guys see this video. All right, so the next thing I want to do is actually type in different search phrases based on what we are potentially going to be looking forward towards in Q4. So let's just type in Christmas, for example, and our little worker bees are going to get to work and show us that there are already these things taking place over the past 30 days. And it's July when I'm making this video. So that means that we are very much so primed, and our audience is primed, and shoppers are already thinking 5 months ahead right now. So we've got Christmas shirts coming in at 4,600, t-shirts, which is a totally different keyword strategy here, but we are already bringing in 2,200 searches for that. Christmas gifts, 16,000, sweatshirts, 5,300, and decorations, 7,500. So you can always open up these individual keywords to see even more and maybe find things that are a little bit less competition by clicking the see more here, or you can simply just click on whichever one you want to do a little bit more research on. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do Christmas sweatshirts. And I want to make sure that I am filtering by bestsellers. So again, things that are actually potentially making money right now or has made money over the past, 12 months or so. You'll see I'm currently looking at bestsellers. I also want to go ahead and hide the ads. So there's 3 that people are paying for visibility under the Christmas sweatshirts keyword. So now that we have what we want and we want to actually start looking through this list, what I'm looking for are these guys down here. So I want to find things again that are either a little bit younger. So maybe they are doing really, really well. They were built this summer and they are prepping for Q4. Or we can also start to look for things that are around 12 months old. And usually I don't like to do that. But in this case where we are thinking about seasonality and we consider the fact that really smart sellers are building out their listings between July and September to get ready for Q4. That means we can start looking at Q3 of 2025 as well. So here's a quick example right here. So this one is 8 months old. It says Surfs Up Santa, Deck the Palms, Tis the Season, Hilarious, 4.35% conversion rate. Monthly sales are only 28 over the past 30 days, but I want to show you guys something really cool here. So if we open up the listing details and you have our business plan, I am able to actually see on the business plan all time trends and the growth rate or how things went up and down throughout the past 8 months, the lifetime of the listing. Now, if you have the growth plan only for EverBee, that's totally fine. You're still going to be able to see these awesome trends over the past month. But since I do have the business plan, we're going to go ahead and click all time and see what kind of fluctuations took place over the past 8 months. All right. So exactly as I imagined, you're going to see in October, nothing, but then November. So it was probably the listing was more than likely built in the month of October of 2025. And then they got 47 sales in November. Then they got 47 sales again in December. And then even in January, they got 55. But then you'll see we went back down to 0 until May and June of this year. So this daily trends, or in this case, monthly trends graph is super, super beneficial for me because I am already seeing that an uptick is happening. More than likely because this holiday related item is also related to summer. So if you're anything like me and you live in the north, for example, there are a ton, millions of people who leave the north during the holiday season to be able to go down south where something like this would make a ton of sense. So the good thing about something of this nature is not only is it going to do well in the holiday season, but it actually might even do well in summer. Just like we're seeing here, there was a growth rate of 2,800% all time. But even in the last month, in June, they were still making sales before we ever get even 4 months close to the holiday season. So here's another example that I want to bring up real fast. This guy right here, it's a cute dog sweatshirt. Obviously it's personalized and it is 8 months old, conversion rate of 3.2%, over 41,000 views in total, and an average of 25 monthly sales. Now, the good thing about something like this is an evergreen product that can absolutely make sales all year long, but I am betting my bottom dollar that it makes an exorbitant amount of sales in the holiday season. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and open up those listing details and again, track the trends all time across this 8-month listing. All right, so we'll see again, just as I imagined. So October, nothing. November, 2. December, 762 sales out of the 1,300 sales they've had in total. So let's just build that out real fast. That is over 57% of their sales for this non-holiday related item took place in December. But the best part about this particular item is it didn't stop. So we saw 200 in January, 133 in February, 158 in March. So I wanted to bring this one up to you guys as well because it's going to be very, very important to not only focus on holiday specific items or Christmas or Halloween or Thanksgiving related listings, but instead think like a gift giver and think about who your audience is and who will be gifting things to them over the next couple of months. What would be the perfect gift for your audience? That is absolutely how not only you can make an insane amount of sales in the months during Q4, but you can also keep sales happening and trickling in throughout the whole season. All right, the last thing I want to show you guys today that I think could be very beneficial as we're leaning through the next couple of months is the keyword research tool. So in today's case, I'm going to go ahead and type in Christmas. And the keyword research tool, by the way, just recently allowed us to look at multiple keywords against each other. So let's say Christmas shirt, Christmas sweatshirt, Christmas PJs, stuff like that, right? So you can be able to start to see these across, and as long as you click enter or you click comma after your keyword or your long tail key phrase, it's going to build those out for you. So you'll be able to see at a glance each of these. So Christmas PJs is probably our best one right now with 1,700 people searching for it with only 33,000 in competition, which is a keyword score of 50. These other guys are not looking too hot simply because, yes, search volume is very high on all of them, but also is competition. So what our goal here is not to use these 4 in our listings, but instead it's to actually see what other ones we might not have been able to find across the different pieces of research we were doing earlier. So what I like to do personally here is I like to put some more filters on this keyword research. So just like we did it in product analytics, I'm going to go ahead and click filter, and I'm going to have my volume minimum, because we want to have as much volume as possible, right? Have my volume minimum be, let's call it 2,000, and I want my competition maximum. So I want no more than X number of sellers or X number of listings utilizing this phrase itself, let's go ahead and try 3,000. Now this is going to bring our list down, as you can see, to now 2,800 when originally it was somewhere in the hundreds of thousands. So this is a much easier list to go through. Now what I also like to do, which might surprise some of you, is I like to bring the heaviest competition up to the top. The reason why I personally like to do that is because that means a lot of other sellers, but a lot less than usual, are actually using these keywords, which means we are less often going to run into spelling errors or any things like this where there's like a hyphen or something of the sort. So I'm already seeing holiday shirt gifted, Christmas, which again, this is spelled a little bit wrong, but Christmas trees sweatshirt, family match sweatshirt, hoodie sweatshirt personal, in this case, more than likely personalized, cute gifted Christmas, person Christmas ornaments. Look at that. That search volume being over 4,000, but less than 3,000 people are competing for it. Pet personal Christmas, same exact thing here. Shirt gifted mama, gifted holiday shirts. All of these are things that I might not have been able to see myself had I not filtered it out by what actually matters. How many people are looking it up and how many people are competing for that space. So highly recommend trying this inside here, inside of EverBee Research. And if you have the growth plan, you're able to do all of this. Even if you have the hobby plan, you're able to do up to a certain number of searches. So go ahead and start getting a master list ready for Q4. And the very easy way to do that is you can simply come over here and click add to your favorites, and then you can start building these out. So let's say I want to create a new folder for Halloween or Christmas or Q4, however you want it. So let's say Christmas keywords, click create, and then we just simply let it know that that's exactly where we want it to go. Then we're going to be able to then come over here into our EverBee search panel, open up our favorites, and then go into keywords instead of listings, and we're going to start to see those folders that we are individually building. So it's going to be a really, really fun time for you guys to start doing this research, start adding things to your favorites. You can add listings, you can add keywords, you can add shops, as you can see here by simply clicking the little EverBee star icon next to any of the individual listings, shops, or keywords. And then you have a perfect list of what you should start building out over the next couple of weeks. And the best way to figure out how you're going to apply this to your individual niche, let's say you are not in the bridal space. Let's say you're not even interested in anything related to the holiday season. Let's say you're not interested in building out a platter like we talked about today. All of that is totally fine. But what each of these individual sellers did today was take from things that are already working and maybe even get a little bit more unique with different types of products, like the embroidery element, making it more unique and a higher perceived value. The platter element, making it more unique and again, having a higher perceived value than if someone just maybe bought a t-shirt or bought a card or bought, again, the digital file that they were originally selling. So I hope that makes sense of exactly how you can use and abuse these incredible features over the next couple of months to make Q4 2026 your best yet. So the biggest takeaway from today's video is that successful Q4 products aren't discovered in October. They're usually prepared in July, August, and September. So by looking at what's already gaining momentum inside of Etsy, you can make much more informed decisions about what to create instead of simply guessing what shoppers might want later this year. And that's exactly where EverBee is going to save the day for you. As you've seen through this video, you can research keywords, analyze successful listings, estimate potential demand in a niche, and even validate your ideas before ever investing time designing new products. So if you'd like the opportunity to conduct this type of research for yourself, I'll actually go ahead and leave a link to EverBee in the description below. And if you're serious about making this Q4 your biggest yet, make sure you check out our 12-week Q4 bootcamp. Week 1 is right above my head. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.